Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking about what if episode 7, what if Thor was an only child? Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I am your host, Brent Cassina, and today we're talking about what if episode 7, what if Thor was an only child? Now, before we jump into the review, let me ask you to please do one thing. Please subscribe. Helps me out, helps the channel grow, lets you know when I drop new videos, all that good stuff. So, as you can see, I'm in an uncharted location. I'm on travel, and finally got done with work for the day. Came back, watched What If episode 7, and I gotta say, what did I just watch? Honestly, this is gonna be a short review. There's not that much to talk about. Again, I feel like maybe the idea of a what if show was not that good of an idea for a Marvel show because they're just doing the regular what if ideas we've seen in comics. And if you talk to any other large comic book fans, What If is not the best series out there. It's not even the longest running series either. I think the longest it had a run was in the 70s and 80s. And then in the last 15 years, they've had a number of specials, but never really like a continuing what if series. It was always, hey, we have a batch of ideas, at least in the last 15 years. Hey, here's a batch of ideas, let's do a couple of specials here. Hey, we have another batch of ideas, let's do another couple of specials here. And that's fine. Usually those were pretty good because it meant that they had actually thought about the ideas and, actually like made stuff happen. This episode, again, I feel like I want to complain about the same thing, but they're not doing the same thing in this episode. They're actually changing the character, but I still, like, that was what I was complaining about the last 2 episodes, maybe 3, is that they weren't doing character changes. Here we have a drastic character change where Thor's personality is entirely changed. I just think it is a dumb change to say that Loki was the one that kept Thor in check. Have you met his dad? Have you met Odin? Honestly. If you think Odin was going to let his son grow up that way, and that somehow having a brother and being low, it's just dumb to think that if you are an only child, that you're going to be spoiled, a spoiled little asshole if you're an only child. I know only children. That I've met spoiled assholes. I've met non-spoiled assholes. I'm not an only child, but I can tell you, as a father of 2 kids who might be spoiled assholes, they're not only children either. So I feel like it's it's all about situations and parenting and other stuff. I'm not calling my children assholes. They're pretty spoiled, though. We do spoil them. But we have the ability to do so, and we have a lot of fun with it. So I'm hoping they won't grow up to be assholes, that I will be there, and I know I'll be there, but I will not allow them to become such assholes like Thor here. But, that just assumes that your sibling is the one responsible for you growing into the person you're being. Again, they're taking one idea and changing one thing, and assuming that change changes 100% of that person, or in the other episodes I was complaining about, the one change absolutely does not change your personality, and you're still the exact same person, even though it totally would. So I feel like it's 2 extremes where they're like, all right, well, we're gonna get rid of Loki as a brother, and it's gonna turn Thor into a complete jerk. I don't think so. Have you met his parents? Like, Frigga and Odin are pretty serious people in the MCU movies. Like that, I don't think that would happen. That's nonsense. Meanwhile, you got Black Panther, T'Challa being kidnapped as an 11-year-old into the Ravagers, and he is still the same calm, cool, collected person he was in the movies. I don't think so. So it's like there's never any merging of, well, he might still be this way, but in this way he would be the same, but in this way he would change, or the same thing here. He might be a little bit more spoiled, but in the same way he still has the same parents and the same environment. He might have a cooler head on his shoulders. Well, Brent, that doesn't make for good stories. Well, if it doesn't make for good stories, then your idea is no good. If you have to go to an extreme to make your idea work, to make your idea good, then you don't have a good idea. If anything, your idea should spawn off a story that works itself out instead of whatever the fuck this was. I did not laugh. I was not amused. I was pretty bored. The idea of a bro Thor is kind of a fun idea. You'd think you would have fun, but watching this just was not it. And I mean, I like Chris Hemsworth as a comedian. I feel like he should do more comedic roles, but the idea of the funny part about Chris Hemsworth being a comedian is the same. It works the same way that John Cena works as a comedian when he does comedic roles. He's a large, muscular dude who's not really. Normally, those aren't the funny guys in the movies. But by being the funny guy, it makes it more funny. But the funny comes from the person, like you seeing the person in the movie, like in live action or whatever. It doesn't come from here from being a cartoon. You know what I mean? So even though Chris Hemsworth is doing a pretty good job with his voice, and we've seen him do, my Roku's turned off over here. We've seen him do funny before. Watching this large 6'3" Australian man be goofy, funny, and lovable is the part that makes watching that enjoyable. Hearing his voice do the same character doesn't make it enjoyable. Like, if this was Chris Hemsworth doing this Thor, or this character, even if you didn't call him Thor, in a different animated movie with a different style of character, not big, hunky, lovable Thor or whatever, but maybe it was a small, short, fat guy or an alien or whatever, it would be more funny. Like, go watch Seth Rogen in, oh gosh, what is it? There was a monster movie. There was a couple of them. He voiced this, like, big thing of goo, and it was just one of the more hilarious things I've seen because you had Seth Rogen's voice and this other kind of weird thing over here, and they just didn't match up, but that's kind of what made it charming and funny. Or they kind of did match up, and it raised the humor to a level where if you just had any old voice, it would not have worked. So this here, them trying to make Thor funny, like, this would have worked better if it was a live action thing, because that's where Chris Hemsworth being a funny guy, a charming guy comes from, is because he's this ultra large man, and usually in film and TV those are the action hero roles. So seeing him be a nerd or a bro or whatever, what might be more funny, that's why Zac Efron in Neighbors was funny, because he's playing against type, but it works better in live action because you have that dichotomy that here's this guy that's really funny. And typically they don't have chiseled abs, and then meanwhile here's Zac Efron's chiseled abs, and he's fucking hilarious in Neighbors, and pretty much anything he does in that form, right? It's the same thing here with Chris Hemsworth, except it doesn't work because you don't really have a contrast. You have a character who kind of looks like Chris Hemsworth, but doesn't. But at the same time, because it's also a cartoon, like, there's something missing about it. I feel like the voices. And I gotta hand it to this episode. They got everybody back except for Brie Larson. Are you kidding me? Like, Frank Grillo came back. Bless him for coming back for 4 lines. He came back just for that one little scene when he's banging on the door. Good for him. But Brie Larson has been sitting in quarantine doing a YouTube channel for the last year and a half. I haven't watched it, but I know she started it and then ended it. She's been gaming. You're telling me, and she's filming the Marvels right now, Captain Marvel 2, whatever it's called. You're telling me, over the last year and a half, you couldn't find Brie Larson to come and do her role in What If? Really? Or you didn't want to shell out the big bucks, but you still paid Frank Grillo to do 4 lines in this episode? Even Natalie Portman came back. Natalie Portman, who... yeah, she was shooting Love and Thunder at the same time, probably. That recently wrapped. But Natalie Portman, prior to them announcing Love and Thunder and bringing it by her, was not wanting to do any Marvel stuff at all. So this is kind of the last thing I would expect Natalie Portman to do was this show. Maybe they built it into her Love and Thunder contract, saying you're gonna do 3 episodes of What If under this contract, and we will renegotiate for more after that. They didn't do that with Brie Larson. It's just kind of wild that I don't know, really really strange, honestly. So, you know, I don't know what this series. And what was that ending? What, you're just gonna bring Vision in an Ultron suit out of nowhere with the Infinity Gems, Infinity Stones, excuse me, MCU version, and just drop that ending? We like the watcher going, "Oh no, what's that?" Yeah, it was really a random ending and just a terrible way to end the episode, because you don't really know if you're going to see these same things again. Maybe, I don't know. Do we have a reason why? Not particularly. Like, there's no real reason to see there's no real reason for them to pull all these different characters from this What If show into an end episode, really. They haven't really worked it out. I don't know if they're going to spend a whole episode doing it, but whenever they do it, I don't think it's going to work out very well. The thing about the Avengers and how they built that up worked because you had these interlinking characters that were moving through the same story, whether it was Coulson or Sam Jackson, or you carried Iron Man through the stories and you placed Hawkeye in the Thor movie, and then he showed up at the beginning of Avengers and you fully met him. You had all these interlinking characters that were the same. That's why it worked. Not because you just went, hey, we're going to throw random shit at the wall and we're going to have Vision in the Zombies episode, but is it the same Vision? We don't know. We didn't really set it up, but we're going to have Vision in one episode and he's going to show up as the big bad in the last episode with some Ultrons and shit. It's fucking dumb. What a letdown this show has been. I really thought seeing the trailer for this when it came out with the animation style, which is gorgeous, it's good, but man, it's just not working. It is not working. I gotta hand it to the voice cast though. I have complained about the voice acting before. I didn't really think that was a problem here. I think it was mostly the script. Like, you can tell Chris Hemsworth was giving it his all. The fact that Natalie Portman even showed up counts for me for 100%, A+ grade that she even showed up. But just some other weird stuff, man. And it was too long. Honestly, this episode was too long. I kind of resorted to looking at my phone the last 5 minutes and then had to go back and go, wait, what? Like, this episode was not that intriguing. So, anyway, let me wrap it up. I don't want to talk longer than the show actually was, because that would be bad, because I didn't really enjoy it that much, or I disliked it, but ugh, what a disappointment. Let me know down below what you guys think of this show. I really think this is a major disappointment, and I'm not sure if I want a What If Season 2 if they're going to be like this. If you're going to do a What If Season 2, you really need to turn this around and make this thing better, because I don't want more of this. Absolutely not. Not when this is over. So, we'll talk to you guys next time here on BK's Bullets. We'll see you in the funny pages.